Hello, this is Lucas McFarland. Got a lot of sports to cover coming up, just NBA standings, some college football stuff, NFL trade deadlines, World Series tonight. College basketball rankings just came out too. I'm starting here at 6 because I have so much stuff I have going on the next 3 or 4 weeks, and I don't like going super late because I got to work in like 3 hours and do stuff, and I'd rather just chill out before I go to work. So I'm doing it early at 6 o'clock as possible. So here we go. Well, we got the trade deadline that's just happened. A big surprise here. Jaguars trade for I got Carlos Hyde from the Browns. I didn't see that coming because Fournette's been out for a little while. So we'll see if that helps Blake Bortles down with the run game this week. I think he'll get more playing time this week. Amari Cooper, he also got traded to the Dallas Cowboys yesterday from the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders traded away first Mack to the Bears. Now Cooper to the Cowboys. It looks like a rebuilding level year for John Gruden and the Raiders. They're trying to get a bunch of first round draft picks. As Dak Prescott now has a weapon that he could throw to, the number one target. So we got like Escobar, Alan Hearns. I think Terrence Williams is out for a few games. Cole Beasley. That's about it. Dallas doesn't have a bunch of receivers, so it's a good thing they got Amari Cooper. They have a bye week this week coming up down the stretch. My computer's going a little fuzzy today, but the bye weeks for week 7 were the Packers, Steelers, and Seahawks and Raiders. Seahawks and Raiders played in London in the last week. We start off with the Week 7 Thursday matchup on the 18th. Denver was 2-4, playing at 1-5 Arizona. Broncos had 2 pick-six returns for a touchdown that game. Manuel Sanders threw and caught a touchdown pass. He had 6 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Philip Lindsay had 14 carries and 90 yards for 1 touchdown as well for the Denver Broncos. As they scored 21 points in the first quarter, they're up 35-3 at the half. And Denver went 3-4. Arizona is now 1-6, one of the worst teams in the league. Both these teams have quarterback situations, though. But Case Keenum might have proved himself a little bit. He's still on shaky ice. And Josh Rosen got hurt. He had toe injury. They're playing. We'll see how they do this week. Arizona's a mess, I think. Larry Fitzgerald is staying there. I wish he would have gone somewhere else, but he's loyal to his team. I respect that. The London game this week. This is the second London game out of 3 for this year. The 3-3 Titans play at the 4-2 Chargers. Chargers are out without Melvin Gordon and Philip Rivers, and he is a beast though, man. He went 19-26. He had 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his Tyrell Williams. I'd pick him up on fantasy if you can. He had 4 receptions, 118 yards, and a touchdown. He's got 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, so I'd look out for that. Titans now lost 3 in a row. They tried going for 2 at the end with Vrabel. He's making this time a call didn't work in his favor. He went for a fourth down against the Eagles a few weeks ago. Decides to go for 2 like we want the win bad, but they miss it. And the Chargers just barely got for 1. I don't know what Vrabel was thinking right there at the end. He thought, let's just go for the win. They should have just tied the game and went to overtime, tried their chance there, but I guess they wanted to win their way and it cost them the win. And Tennessee's now 3-4. The Chargers are 5-2. They've won 4 in a row. Chargers are a sleeper team right now. They might be top wildcard team in my eyes for the AFC behind the Chiefs. And that's a good one right there. The 1 o'clock games, there's only 7 of them. Brady threw 3 touchdown passes. Trubisky, I'm looking out for him. He was 26 of 50, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 6 carries, 81 yards, and 1 touchdown. Bears did pretty good, even though Trubisky threw a deep ball to Kevin White. He got stuffed right at the 1. He caught it. He tried reaching it in, but 3 or 4 Patriot guys stopped him right at the last play. I feel so bad for the Bears. The Patriots are 4-2 going into this game. The Bears are 3-2 going into their game. Patriots are now 5-2. Bears are 3-3 now. Patriots are on 38-31 over the Chicago Bears this week to win. I think that's 4 in a row for them too. They're a sleeper. I mean, not sleeper. They're always the Patriots. They always play sleeper. Start slow early, then they play right late. This one here, geez, 2-4 Buffaloes at 1-5 Indy. My goodness, Andrew Luck 4 touchdowns. He's right behind Mahomes for the passing touchdowns right there. Marlon Mack had I think 2 total touchdowns. He had 1 rushing touchdown. I think 19 carries, 126 yards, and a touchdown as Indy won. But Derek Anderson played for the first time in a while. He threw 3 interceptions, only 175 yards, but Luck played great. Indy won 37-5, getting their first win since week 2. In Buffalo, they have a quarterback problem there without Josh Allen. They need Josh Allen. He's their only guy barely in the offense for Buffalo. I think one of the worst offensive teams in the league. I thought their defense is all right, but they look awful. Luck shredded that defense, and the Colts blew out the Bills 37-5. Scored 24 points, by the way, in the second quarter, 13 in the fourth. The Lions were 2-3 at the 4-2 Dolphins. Brock Osweiler played again. Albert Wilson got hurt; he might be out for the season. Kerryon Johnson, the Lions might have a running game now. He had 19 carries for 158 yards, and the Lions actually ran the football to beat the Dolphins. That's what you got to do to beat that team. They won 32-21 as the Lions moved to 3-3. The Dolphins are now 4-3. Detroit, I don't know about them. They got a tough schedule. We'll look into that in a sec. They're playing Seattle next week. Miami 4-3. They need Tannehill back, I think. I know Brock Osweiler's 1-1. He's playing this week, and they have another wide receiver down. I think Miami's about to be a team that slips down the stretch. Minnesota and the Jets. Vikings were 3-2-1 going into their game. The Jets are 3-3 as Minnesota won 37-17. Kirk Cousins with 25-40, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns. Latavius Murray had 15 carries, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Adam Thielen, he's still my top guy in the MVP race. He's got another 100-yard game. 9 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Vikings are now 4-2-1, and the Jets are 3-4. Vikings have won 3-0 quietly. They're leading the division now, so look out for Minnesota. They could be 5-2 without that tie, I think. Or maybe even 6-1 if they want to. They didn't get blown up by the Bills. Easily 7-0 if they wanted to. Minnesota's a sleeper team at the moment. The Jets are 3-4. Darnold threw many interceptions in this game. Bad situation there. Carolina was 3-2, playing at the defending 3-3 Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. In Philadelphia, there was some beef with Eric Reid and Malcolm Jenkins before the start of the game. Eric Reid threw down Carson Wentz, and Zach Ertz tried to body slam him. Eric Reid was having a little temper tantrum, I think, in that whole game. Eagles were up 17-0 in the fourth quarter. I think with like 12 minutes to go. Carolina scored all 21 points, came back to beat the Eagles. In the fourth quarter, they won 21-17 over the defending champion Eagles. Philadelphia will not make the playoffs if they keep losing these games like this. They're having a hangover year. Carolina was 4-2. Philadelphia is now 3-4. Newton had 7 carries, 49 yards. He threw a 1-yard touchdown pass to Greg Olsen with 122 left. Zach Ertz had 9 receptions, 138 yards. Carson Wentz was 30-37 for 310 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Panthers won against the Philadelphia Eagles. This game was nuts. 2-3-1 Cleveland was at 2-3 Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, they were throwing the ball all over the place. It was 16-2 Tampa Bay, I think at the half or so. And Cleveland came back and tied it 23-all. Winston was 32 of 52, 365 yards. Threw 2 interceptions, though. This field goal kicker, I can't say his name, Castellano, missed a field goal with like 5 seconds left in the game. And then in overtime, just got the football. Cleveland fumbled it. Tampa Bay got into field goal range. A deep 59-yard field goal helped Tampa Bay beat Cleveland 26-23. Tampa Bay's 3-3, 2-4-1 is Cleveland. But good win for them. Mike Evans had 7 receptions, 107 yards for Tampa Bay. Houston was 3-3, playing at 3-3 Jacksonville. This is for the AFC South lead. Blake Bortles got benched in this game. He fumbled the ball twice. He keeps turning the ball over. Doug Marrone, the coach for the Jags, like, we got to bench this guy. And they bench him, and Houston wins. They were up 20-0 anyways. Cody Kessler played great, 21-30, 156 yards, 1 touchdown. Lamar Miller had 22 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. I think Jacksonville should have started Kessler this week just to say, Bortles, you're on thin ice. Let's see what Kessler can do. If Kessler would have done bad, they would have picked Bortles back after the bye week. Houston suddenly won quietly 4 in a row. They're leading the AFC South. I said they'd be a Super Bowl team. That was my prediction on my other podcast at the start of the year, Houston over the Rams. But Houston's won 4 in a row. I wouldn't want to play them right now. They got an easy schedule coming down the stretch. Jacksonville's 3-4 as well. They got a long year ahead of them. I thought they'd be a Super Bowl contender, but they don't look good at all. This game was nuts. New Orleans was 4-1, and Baltimore was 4-2. This is my game to look out for. Baltimore allowed a few touchdowns, though. Kamara had 17 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown. John Brown had 7 receptions, 134 yards, 1 touchdown. Flacco was 23-39, 279 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Breeze had his 500th touchdown. New Orleans was down 17-7 in this one. They came back. They were up 24-17 late in the game. Baltimore drove down the field. John Brown had a late touchdown. Oh, they're going to kick the extra point, tie the game. Well, John Brown missed his first extra point in his career. It was about 5 or 8 seconds left. And Baltimore lost 24-23 to New Orleans on an extra point. I feel so bad for the Ravens. Saints are now 5-1. They've won 5 in a row. Baltimore's 4-3. That's unbelievable how Baltimore lost that game. They should have had a tie. It went to OT. Rams were 6-0 going to 1-5 San Francisco. Rams dominated. Goff was 18-24, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malcolm Brown had more rushing yards, I think, than Todd Gurley. He had 13 carries, 65 yards. I'm surprised by that. St. Louis, I mean, my bad. Excuse me. The LA Rams, not St. Louis anymore. They have a run game, I think, with both Todd Gurley and Malcolm Brown, so they could do a 1-2 punch for the Rams. Jared Goff looks great. He's got a bunch of receivers around him. Defense looks fantastic. They really lost a few people. Rams are the best team in football right now. No one's talking about it. They're 7-0. I would love the LA Rams. We're going to see them in the national spotlight this week against the Posts and the Packers. And at the Saints next few weeks, we'll see what they could really do. They're now 7-0. San Fran's 1-6. Dallas was 3-3 at 3-2 Washington. This is for the NFC East lead after the Eagles lost. Oh man, Adrian Peterson had a big game. 24 carries, 99 yards, touchdown. Oh man, Kerrigan had a strip sack of Dak Prescott for a touchdown that helped Washington win. Dallas got down there. They were down 20-17. They missed a field goal right at the last second. And Washington now is leading the NFC East. They've won 2 in a row, 3 in the last 3 home games in a row. Don't sleep on the Redskins. They're 4-2 now. Dallas is 3-4. They're a lock for me this week. We'll talk about the matchup next week. They're at the Giants. Bengals and the Chiefs right now. Bengals are 4-2. Chiefs are 5-1 going into their game. Mahomes looked great. 20-39, 358 yards, 4 touchdowns. AJ Green had a big day too. 7 receptions, 117 yards. Kareem Hunt had a big day. He hurled a guy. 15 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. As the Chiefs dominate the Bengals 45-10. Chiefs are now 6-1. Bengals are 4-3. This game, the Giants had a bunch of questionable decisions. Missed fourth down plays. They decided to go for 2 with like 3 minutes left in the game. I don't know what that was about. It was 20-6. It was 20-12. Sherman decides to go for 2 and they miss it. Atlanta goes all the way down there. Instead of punting it, they kick this long field goal to help them win. 23-12. Giants get a touchdown late, but they could have kicked it and tried onside kick with about 40 seconds left, but Eli decides to run. Do you think he could run in for a touchdown back-to-back plays and missing it? They got a touchdown, went for 2, and they were down 23-20. They missed the onside kick. But the Giants are the most dysfunctional team in football. It was unbelievable how bad they played, even though they were in it late in the game. Atlanta's now 3-4. The Giants are 1-6. Atlanta won 23-20. Tevin Coleman, 11 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Matt Ryan had a touchdown pass. Eli got sacked a lot, too. He was 27-38, 399 yards, 1 touchdown. The Giants have a long year ahead of them again. Even with Saquon Barkley. They stuffed Barkley, too. Made Eli throw a lot and had him a lot of pressure. Props to Atlanta for slowing down the Giants. They found the way to beat the New York Giants, slow down Saquon Barkley. I want to talk about coaches on the hot seat right now, just because we're in it right now. Week 7. Guys on the hot seat. Vance Joseph for the Broncos. I heard they might fire him. There's rumors of that happening. Other coaches that could possibly get fired. Sean McDermott for the Bills. He might be on the hot seat. He's 2-5. They don't have a quarterback right now. Might be on the hot seat. Todd Bowles for the Jets. They don't make the playoffs or have a winning season. He might be gone too. I heard Hugh Jackson might get fired before the bye week for the Browns. They're sick of him in Cleveland. More guys. What do we got? Kyle Shanahan. No one's talking about Kyle Shanahan. The last 2 years, San Francisco's been awful. I feel like they might fire him. They always fire a coach like a year or 2 after they hire him. If Washington doesn't win Jay Gruden, Jason Garrett should be on thin ice for Dallas. And I should say Pat Shurmur. They're not doing well. The Giants are dysfunctional. They might keep him around another year. Mike McCarthy if they don't make the playoffs. That's about it for right now for the coaches. I'm going to look at the NFL standings. There's something in my throat today. For those of you just joined us, we're doing a 6 o'clock one. I'm really busy the next 3 Tuesdays, so I might do it 6, and 4 o'clock the next few weeks. That's why whoever just joined us wanted to say that. So I'm looking at the NFL standings. The Patriots are 5-2. Dolphins are second, 4-3. The Jets are third, 3-4, and the Bills are last, 2-5. The AFC North, the Steelers now took the lead. They're 3-2-1. Bengals and Ravens just lost each. They're 4-3 each. Head-to-head owned by the Bengals, second and third place. And the Browns are 2-4-1. The AFC South, Texans have won 4 in a row. They suddenly took the AFC South lead by storm. They're 4-3. The tied for second. Tennessee is 3-4. Jacksonville's 3-4. Tennessee owns the head-to-head because they beat the Jags for second place, and the Colts are 2-5 in last. AFC West, the Chiefs are 6-1. The Chargers are second at 5-2. Broncos are third at 3-4, and the Raiders were off. They're 1-5. The NFC East, the Redskins were 4-2 in first place. The Eagles were 3-4, and the Cowboys are 3-4. They haven't played yet, but the Eagles on the head-to-head for second place. The Giants are 1-6 in last. They look awful. The NFC North, the Vikings are 4-2-1 and lone first place. Packers are 3-2-1. Lions are 3-3, and the Bears are 3-3. Bears slipped from first to fourth in 1 week with their loss, and the Packers were off this week too. NFC South, the Saints are 5-1. Panthers are 4-2 in second. Bucks are 3-3 in third, and the Falcons are 3-4 in the NFC South. NFC West, I think the Rams easily win this one. They're in first. They're 7-0. Seahawks, they're 3-3 in second place. Cardinals are 1-6, and the Niners are 1-6, third and fourth. Cardinals on the head-to-head. I think they play this week. Week 8. Look at the Week 8 matchups. We'll look on its scores. For Week 8, Miami is at Houston this week to start off for Week 8. Brock Osweiler returns to Houston, where he got dumped by Bill O'Brien. Miami's 4-3, and Houston's 4-3 as well. But I think this game's going to be a blowout. It's a 7.5 spread for Houston. I think Houston's going to throw the ball over the place, and they'll get their 5th win in a row. I like the Texans to dominate the Dolphins in this matchup. That's on the 25th, Thursday night. The London game, two teams that desperately need a win. They're both in the championship. Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. Eagles were 3-4. Jags were 3-4. This game might be low scoring. I think Philly wins by a field goal. I think Bortles does okay. He might turn the ball over once, but I think Philadelphia wins a close one. I think both teams won't make the playoffs at all. They don't look good at all. I think Philly needs to just win over Jacksonville more to save their season. They got a tougher schedule than Jacksonville. 3-4 Jets are 3-3 Bears. Bears have had lost 2 in a row. I think it's at Chicago. I think Darnold are going to have a tough game with Khalil Mack. He's going to have a big one game. I think the Bears are a lock of the week over the Jets. I like Chicago to beat the Jets. 3-3 Tampa Bay at 4-3 Cincinnati. I think this game might be a shootout with Winston and Dalton. I think Cincinnati bounces back after 2 straight losses. They win at home. It's going to be a shootout game. I like Cincinnati to beat Tampa Bay in this one. I like this matchup, though. Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford. Seattle's at Detroit. They're both 3-3, 3-3. This game's going to be a shootout, I think, too. I like the Lions in a close game here. Seattle's coming off a bye. They're on a cross-country trip all the way from Seattle, all the way to Detroit. That's a long flight. I like Detroit to beat Seattle in a close game, close shootout game. Second matchup of the year between 3-4 Denver and 6-1 Kansas City. It's a 10.5 spread. I think Kansas City at home dominates in this one in the better matchup than the Monday night one. They play against the Broncos. I like the Chiefs to dominate the Broncos in this matchup. Another lock of the week at 1 o'clock. 4-2 Washington's at 1-6 New York. I think the Redskins are really underrated. Great defense, great corner secondary, great running game. Alex Smith's been playing secretly great. I like Washington to beat the Giants, and then the Giants will fall to 1-7. Second matchup of the year. The first one wound up in a tie, which is disappointing. 2-4-1 Cleveland's at 3-2-1 Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh to dominate. I feel like Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, Big Ben, James Conner are going to have big games, better than the one they did in Week 1. They looked awful Week 1. Both teams did. This matchup's underrated at 1 o'clock. Last 1 o'clock one, by the way. Baltimore's 4-3 at 4-2 Carolina. I like Carolina at home, really close by a field goal. I think this game's going to be a good, close-scoring game. I like Carolina beat Baltimore. 4:05, Indy's 2-5 at 1-5 Oakland. I think Indy dominates Oakland. Indy looked great last week. I like the Colts to win 2 in a row against the Raiders. 4:25, 3-2-1 Green Bay's at 7-0 Rams. I think Jared Goff and the Rams, they dominate Green Bay. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I like the Rams in this matchup. 1-6 San Fran's at 1-6 Arizona. I like Arizona to sweep San Francisco. Big rematch of the wildcard game where Stephon Diggs had that big catch for a touchdown. 5-1 New Orleans at 4-2-1 Minnesota. You know, I like Minnesota to beat New Orleans in a close game here. I think it's going to be a shootout. I like Minnesota to beat New Orleans. It's going to be a close game. And finally, 5-2, New England's at 2-5. Buffalo, I think New England dominates. It's a 2-touchdown spread. I like New England to dominate. Buffalo. And the teams that are off, Titans, Chargers, Falcons, and Cowboys this week. That's for the NFL. The college football games. Wow, college football, wild weekend, man. A lot of teams went down. Ohio State went down pretty big. We'll get into that one in a second. I like to go over all the matchups from Thursday to Saturday and Friday. 2-4 Georgia State played at 3-3 Arkansas State. Arkansas State won 51-35. Justice Hansen for Arkansas State was 17-28, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns in that one. As Arkansas State gets their first Sun Belt win, they moved to 4-3. Georgia State's 2-5. Stanford was 4-2 going at 3-3 Arizona State. It wasn't Bryce Love that had a lot of rushing yards. It was just Cameron Charlotte. He had 9 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Stanford won 20-13. They're now 5-2. Arizona State's 3-4. Friday matchups: Boise State was up 35-7 at the half already in this one. Colorado State was 3-4. Boise State was 4-2 going into their matchup. Brett Rypien, 22-26, 308 yards and 4 touchdowns. As Boise State won 56-28 over Colorado State. They're 5-2 now. Colorado State's 3-5. I go over overall records before I do the conference standings, just so I can map out who's undefeated. Who has winning records, who doesn't. Air Force was 2-4 at 2-4 UNLV. Air Force won 41-35 over UNLV. Isaiah Sanders had 21 carries, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the matchup. Air Force is now 3-4, and UNLV's 2-5. Here's the ranked matchups for this week on Saturday. Number 1, 7-0 Alabama played at 3-3 unranked Tennessee. Bama dominated. They were up 42-14 at the half. Bama won 58-21. As Teo Tagovailoa, he's still great. 19-26, 306 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions, 117 yards, 1 touchdown, underrated receiver. Josh Jacobs at 12 carries, 68 yards and 2 touchdowns for Bama. And Bama's now 8-0, 5-0 in SEC conference play. I will say Bama because they're the number 1 overall team. 3-4 is Tennessee. This game was the surprise of the day. Surprise of the night. 7-0 second-ranked Ohio State played at 3-3 Purdue. Purdue won 3 in a row, and Purdue's always gave Ohio State trouble at Ross-Ade. I said, don't sleep on Ohio State. I told you guys last week, Ohio State shouldn't sleep on Purdue. This is what happened. Haskins threw the ball 73 times for Ohio State. He was 49-73, 470 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did way too much. He threw 73 times. That's a lot. Ronald Moore had 12 receptions, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. DJ Knox, the running back, 16 carries, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns for Purdue. It was a standout win. Big standout win for Purdue. Good for their program. They won 49-20. Ohio State's now 7-1. Purdue's 4-3. I don't know how Ohio State could be even in the top 4. The only reason Ohio State would get into the Final Four now, they need to win out and win the Big Ten. That's their only way to get into the playoff, the Final Four. 5-0, 16th ranked NC State played 6-0 Clemson. I thought Clemson was going to have a lot of trouble here. Dominated NC State. Trevor Lawrence with 26-39, 308 yards, 1 touchdown. T. Higgins had 8 receptions, 119 yards, 1 touchdown. Clemson won 41-7 over NC State. As Clemson moves to 7-0, NC State's now 5-1 with their first loss of the season. Another ranked matchup: 22nd ranked 4-2 Mississippi State traveled to 6-1 5th ranked LSU. Nick Fitzgerald looked awful, except for him running the ball. He can't throw the ball. Fitzgerald had 23 carries, 131 yards. Joe Burrow was 60-28, 120 yards, 129 yards, 1 interception. LSU's D looked great. They won 19-3. Mississippi State looks awful week to week. They don't have a great offense. They're 4-3. LSU is 7-1 right now. They have a bye week along with Bama. They play in 2 weeks. Game day will probably be there. 1-4 now. 4 is LSU. They played their 5th ranked. Michigan, little lightning delay. 6-1 at 4-2 Michigan State, coming off a big win against Penn State. Michigan won 21-7. Hidgen had 33 carries, 144 yards. Shea Patterson has 14-25, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns in the slop. As Michigan beat Michigan State 21-7. Lewerke didn't look good. I think he got benched late in the 4th. Michigan is 7-1. Michigan State's now 4-3. Oklahoma, 5-1, 9th ranked. They played at 3-3 TCU. Kennedy Brooks had 18 carries, 168 yards, and a touchdown. Kyler Murray's still a Heisman candidate. 19-24, 213 yards, 4 touchdowns as Oklahoma won 52-27 over TCU. They're 6-1 overall now. TCU's 3-4. The top group of 5 team UCF, they were 6-0 going into their game at 2-4 East Carolina. And UCF won 37-10 on a 93-yard touchdown return for UCF. Daryl Mack had 22 carries, 120 yards, one touchdown. As UCF is now 7-0, East Carolina is 2-5. Another ranked matchup. Game day was here. Nobody's talking about Washington State. I said Washington State was going to win this one. They're both 5-1 against Oregon, 12th ranked against 25th ranked at Washington State. Washington State's Gardner Minshew was 39-51, 123 yards, four touchdowns. Washington State's 6-1. Suddenly they're underrated. Nobody's talking about them. I like Washington State right now. They're playing great football. Oregon's 5-2 after a big win against Washington, and then they lose at Washington State. 3-4 Vanderbilt was at 5-1, 14th ranked Kentucky. Kentucky only won 14-7 in this one. Snell, 32 carries, 169 yards, did it all, one touchdown. Kentucky only won 14-7 late in the fourth. They were down 7-0 in the first quarter. Vanderbilt's 3-5. Kentucky's now 6-1. Colorado coming off a tough loss. USC their only loss of the year. At 15th ranked Washington coming off a tough loss to Oregon themselves. 5-1 Colorado was at 5-2 Washington. Washington, Jake Browning 15-25, 150 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Fuller had 5 receptions, 63 yards and a touchdown. Washington won 27-13 over Colorado. They're 6-2 now. Colorado's 5-2 as well. 18th ranked Penn State coming off 2 straight losses, 4-2 at 4-3 IU. They struggled in this one, but they won 33-28 over them. Juwan Johnson had 2 receptions for 72 yards. McSorley had a quick 5-yard touchdown run. As Penn State is now 5-2 overall, Indiana's 4-4 overall. The team that no one's talking about is Iowa right now. 4-2 Maryland played at 5-1 Iowa. Iowa's got a great defense, by the way. Smith had a wild 1-yard touchdown for Iowa. They won 23-0. Ivory Kelly Martin had 24 carries, 98 yards, no touchdowns, but Iowa won 23-0. Their defense looks great. Cincinnati was a team that they're finally ranked. They're 6-0. Everybody was talking about them. Temple was 4-3, but Temple upset Cincinnati in overtime with a late pick in overtime as they won 24-17. Anthony Russo was 20-41 for 237 yards, 3 touchdowns. As Temple is now 5-3. Since he's 6-1, Temple won 24-17 in overtime. South Florida, no one's talking about them either. They were 6-0 going to their matchup. UConn was 1-5. Ford had 3 touchdowns for UCF. Blake Barnett was 20-28, 265 yards and a touchdown. As UCF won 38-30. They're 7-0 now. UConn's 1-6. They look awful. Wisconsin in the snow. Then it stopped, and it stopped late in the game. Illinois was 3-3 going into their matchup with 4-2, 23rd ranked Wisconsin. As Alex Hornibrook was 13-22, 108 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor was 27 carries, 159 yards, still a Heisman candidate, one of the best running backs in the league. Wisconsin's now 5-2. They won 49-20 over Illinois. Illinois is now 3-4, and that's the last ranked matchup this week. All the noon ones to 8. Buffalo is 6-1 going at 3-3. Toledo, Tyree Jackson, great quarterback. 25-46, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like the best team in the MAC right now. Buffalo, they won 31-17 over Toledo. Arkansas was 1-6, hosted 1-5 Temple. They won 23-0, same score as the Iowa game. Arkansas is now 2-6. Tulsa's 1-6 as well. Rakeem Boyd had 22 carries, 99 yards for Arkansas as they won the game. Auburn on thin ice. They've lost 2 in a row. They were 4-3, 5-2 Ole Miss. Arkansas had a big recovery touchdown. They won 31-16 as Jarvis Winlow, 19 carries, 170 yards for Auburn as they are now 5-3, and Ole Miss is now 5-3 as well. Northwestern still leading the Big Ten West, but they barely beat Rutgers. They were 3-3. Rutgers was 1-6. Isaiah Brower, 24 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. At Northwestern won 18-15. They're now 4-3. Rutgers is 1-7. They have an official losing season. This game was an overtime game. Miami of Ohio was 3-4, 4-2 Army. They had a defensive stop in the second overtime when Miami tried to go for 2. Cam Thomas of Miami of Ohio had 26 carries, 137 yards, and a touchdown. But Gus Ragland of Miami of Ohio was 30-53, 329 yards, and 4 touchdowns. As Army won 31-30 in double overtime. They're 5-2 now overall. They're 1 game away from being bowl eligible. And Miami of Ohio is 3-5. This game also went to double overtime. 1-4 North Carolina was at 4-2 Syracuse. They had a late touchdown pass, 2 overtimes. As Jamal Custis, 7 receptions, 160 yards, and a touchdown for Syracuse. Big win for them. They won 40-37. They're 5-2 now overall. And North Carolina is 1-5 overall. Virginia And Duke was 5-1 going into their matchup. And Virginia was 4-2. Virginia won 28-14, by the way. Bryce Perkins had 15 carries, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Virginia won, like I said, by 2 touchdowns. They're both 5-2 now, along with Duke. Liberty was 3-3 going into their matchup with 4-2 Idaho State. Liberty won 48-41. They had a hat trick touchdown. As they won 48-41. Bowling Green was 1-6 at 3-3 Ohio. Ohio dominated. They won 49-14. I think Malik Irons, 12 carries, 116 yards for Ohio. They're now 4-3. Bowling Green's 1-7. Utah State won their 6th in a row. They were 5-1 going into their matchup with 2-5 Wyoming. They won 24-16. Thompson had 2 touchdowns in the game for Utah State. They're now 6-1 and bowl eligible, 6th straight win. Wyoming's 2-6. 3-3 Florida Atlantic. It was at 4-2 Marshall. Marshall won 31-7. Marshall had 5 turnovers against FAU. As Tyler King of Marshall had 21 carries, 125 yards, and 1 touchdown. As Marshall won their game against Florida Atlantic. Charlotte and Middle Tennessee. Charlotte and Middle Tennessee, they're both 3-3 going into their matchup. Middle Tennessee won 21-13. They're 4-3 now. Charlotte's 1-3. As Ty Lee of Middle Tennessee, 6 receptions, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns. EMU has won 2 in a row, so they're 3-4 at 3-4 Ball State. Tyler Widgers of EMU, 22-28, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. As they won 42-20 over Ball State. They're 4-4 now. Overall, Ball State's 3-5. Western Central, I was here. Then the rain happened. Western was 5-2. Central was 1-6. Vontae Bellamy had 19 carries, 145 yards, and a touchdown for Western. As they won 35-10 over Central. Central was a losing season. Now they're 1-7. Western's bowl eligible. They get their payback when Western won. They're 6-2, 4 overall in the MAC. Coastal Carolina was 3-3 at 2-5 UMass. Coastal Carolina won 24-13 over UMass. Marcus Outlaw of Coastal Carolina had 17 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Houston was 5-1 at 2-4 Navy. Navy's a disappointing team this year for college football. I thought they'd be better than this. Houston's now bowl eligible. They won 49-36. King of Houston was 25-38 for 413 yards and 3 touchdowns. As Houston is now 6-1, 2-5 is Navy. SMU was 2-4 Tulane. They won 27-23. Ben Hicks of SMU was 21-40, 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. SMU is now 3-4 and 2-5 is Tulane. Akron and Kent State went to overtime. Akron was 2-3. Kent State was 1-6. Akron won 24-23. Cato Nelson of Akron was 19-35, 219 yards and touchdowns. Akron's now 3-3. Kent State is a losing season. They're 1-7. Louisiana was 3-3 going into 4-1 Appalachian State. Appalachian State won 27-17. Evans, the running back, had 26 carries, 186 yards, and 1 touchdown. They're a team to watch. They're 25th ranked now. We'll get into the matchups next week after conference standings. UTEP's 0-6 at 4-2 Louisiana Tech. Dancy of Louisiana Tech had 12 carries, 93 yards. Teddy Vale at 11 receptions, 93 yards. Louisiana Tech won. They're 31-24. They're 5-2. UTEP's lost. They're 0-7 now, but they were 0-12 last year. They've lost 19 in a row. Wake Forest was 3-3 at 3-3 Florida State. Florida State suddenly found a rhythm. They won 38-17. They're 4-3 now. Wake Forest is 0-3. Francois was 29-40 for 353 yards and 2 touchdowns. As Florida State, they now have a winning record. Nebraska finally got their first win. Adrian Martinez was 25-29, 276 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Divine Osabigo for Nebraska. They're 12 carries and 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nebraska won 53-28 over Minnesota. Gophers are 3-4. Nebraska's 1-6 in their long, dreadful season. Kansas is 2-4 at 4-2 at Texas Tech. Texas Tech won 48-16. Bowman came back. He was 36-46, 48 yards, 3 touchdowns. Antonio Wesley of Texas Tech, 9 receptions, 155 yards, and 1 touchdown. Kansas has lost 4 in a row now. They're 2-5. Texas Tech's 5-2 now. Missouri ended their 3-game losing streak, beating Memphis. Memphis was 4-3, and Missouri was 3-3 going in their matchup. Drew Lock is a NFL draft candidate, 23-29, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. And Larry Roundtree Jr., 9 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns for Missouri. And Albert, I can't pronounce his last name, Alka Wiggleman? I can't say his name. It's a weird name. 6 receptions, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns. As Missouri's 4-3, Memphis is now 4-4. California's 3-3 going into 1-5 Oregon State. They won 49-7. Chase Garbers 17-26 quarterback, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns. Patrick Laird 22 carries, 993 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Is Cal now 4-3. Oregon State's 1-6. Georgia Southern's 5-1. They were at 2-5. New Mexico State. Georgia Southern won 48-31. They're bowl eligible now after a victory. Logan Wright at 17 carries, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. If they move to 6-1, Mexico State's now 2-6. Southern Miss won 27-17 over UTSA. Southern Miss is now 3-3. UTSA is now 3-5. Mosley of Southern Miss had 26 carries, 142 yards, and no touchdowns. So Southern Miss won. They're 3-3 now. UTSA is 3-5. Texas State was 1-5 at 3-4. UL Monroe. UL Monroe won 20-14. As Caleb Evans with 13-29, 124 yards and a touchdown. The quarterback for UL Monroe. They are now 4-4, and Texas State is now 1-6. Fresno State played at New Mexico. Fresno State was 5-1 at 3-3 New Mexico. They won 38-7. As Marcus McMarion, 20-30, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't know why Fresno State's not ranked either. They're 6-1. They look great. New Mexico's 3-4 now. Rice is 1-6 at 4-2 Florida International. James Morgan, Florida International was 20-29, 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. They moved to 5-2. Rice is now 1-7. North Texas was 5-2 along with UAB. They were 5-1. UAB won 29-21. UAB's now 6-1. North Texas is 5-2. UAB Spencer Brown at 25 carries, 100 yards and 3 touchdowns as UAB won. Again, they're bowl eligible again, 6-1. Old Dominion was 1-6 at 1-5 Western Kentucky. Old Dominion's strong. The running back at 27 carries, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. As they got their second win of the year. The first one was being a ranked Virginia Tech team. Old Dominion won 37-34 over Western Kentucky. They're now 2-6. Western Kentucky's 1-6. I think there's 4 more matchups this week to discuss. Yes. As I better write these scores in, by the way, after this too. USC 4-2 traveling to 4-2 Utah. Utah won 41-28 over USC. They're 5-2 now. USC's 4-3. Tyler Huntley of Utah was 22-29, 340 yards and 4 touchdowns. UCLA with Chip Kelly, they suddenly won 2 in a row. They were 1-5 going into their matchup with 3-4 Arizona. They won 31-30. UCLA running back had a 28-yard touchdown run. A lot of big plays. No Tate for Arizona. They've been struggling all year. Khalil Tate. UCLA is 2-5 now. Arizona is 3-5 as well. 2 more matchups. 5-1 San Diego State hosted 0-6 winless San Jose State. They won 16-13. They moved 6-1. San Jose State's still winless. They're 0-7. Chance Bell of San Diego State had 15 carries, 81 yards, no touchdowns. They're 6-1 now. Nevada beat Hawaii 40-22. Nevada's now 4-4 and Hawaii's 6-3. Hawaii's lost 2 in a row. To'otea of Nevada had 18 carries, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm going to leave that up because I want to look at the college football standings. This is conference records overall, not overall records, just what the conference is like right now. And we'll preview the matchups going into next week as well. Oh, whoops, I want the standings. We'll preview next week's matchups, and I'll give you my quick predictions. Standings. Right now, we start with the American Athletic Conference, the Eastern Conference. Central Florida and Temple are both 4-0 overall in their conference. South Florida is 21st ranked. They're 3-0. Cincinnati's 2-1 for last in the East. East Carolina's 0-4, and so is UConn. In the West, Houston's 3-0. SMU's 2-1 second. Tulane's 1-2 and third. Navy and Memphis are tied at 1-3 for 4th and 5th. And Tulsa's 0-6. So at the American Athletic Conference end of today, it'd be Houston and Central Florida for the championship. The ACC, the Atlantic Conference, Clemson's leading solely at 4-0. Tied for second, 22nd ranked NC State's 2-1. And along with Boston College at 2-1. Syracuse is in 4th at 2-2. Florida State's in 5th at 2-3. Wake Forest is in 6th in the Atlantic 0-3. And Louisville is 0-4 in last. And in the Coastal, nobody's ranked in that one. Virginia Tech's 3-0. Virginia's 3-1 second. Miami's 2-1 third. Tied with Pittsburgh for third at 2-1, 2-1 each. Fifth is Duke at 1-2. Georgia Tech and North Carolina tied for last at 1-3. If the ACC Conference Championship started today, it'd be Virginia Tech and second-ranked Clemson for the ACC Championship. Big 12 overall conference. They just do top 2 now. Texas solely leads. They had a bye week. They're 6th ranked. They're 4-0. West Virginia's 3-1, tied with Oklahoma at 3-1. Oh, and Texas Tech, they're tied at 2nd too. Baylor and Iowa State are tied for 5th at 2-2. All for 8th to 7th to 8th. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and TCU are 1-3 overall in conference play, and Kansas is 0-4. If the Big 12 championship ended today, it'd be West Virginia and Texas and Jerry World right now. Big Ten Conference. In the Eastern Conference, Michigan solely leads. They're the fifth ranked. They're 5-0. Ohio State dropped to 11. Wow, I thought they would drop to 9. Ohio State's 4-1. We'll get into college basketball, dude. I was gonna get into the rankings. I have to look at the conference standings, the rankings. I was looking at the rankings this week. Ohio State's 4-1. Michigan State's 2-2, and Penn State's 2-2, and Maryland's 2-2, third to fifth. IU's 1-4. Rutgers is 0-5. That's the Big Ten East. Northwestern still leads the Big Ten West. They're 4-1. Wisconsin's 20th ranked, and Iowa's 18th ranked, and Purdue. They're all 3-1 right there, and they're second to fourth. Fifth is Illinois, 1-3. Nebraska's 1-4, and Minnesota's last at 0-4. But if the Big Ten championship ended today, guess this: it wouldn't be Wisconsin, Iowa, or Purdue in the West. It'd be Northwestern and Michigan if the Big Ten championship ended today. So nobody's talking about Northwestern right now. They're playing a big one against Wisconsin, I think, this week. Northwestern beats Wisconsin. They should be talked about. In the CUSA, the East, Florida Nationals leading at 3-0. Middle Tennessee second, along with Marshall at 3-1. Charlotte's 2-2. Florida Atlantic's 1-2. Old Dominion's 1-4. Western Kentucky's 0-3. UAB in the West, they're 4-0 solely overall. Louisiana Tech's 3-1. Southern Miss is 2-1. North Texas is 2-2. UTSA's 2-2. UTEP's 0-3. Rice is 0-4. So the CUSA championship started today. It'd be Florida National and UAB right now. The Independents, this is just overall records. Notre Dame's 7-0. They're third ranked now. Army's 5-2. BYU's 4-3. Liberty's 4-3. New Mexico State's 2-6, and UMass 2-6. In the MAC conference, in the East, Buffalo's has a conference record of 4-0. Miami of Ohio's in second at 3-1. Ohio's 2-1. Akron's 1-2. Bowling Green and Kent State are tied for last at 0-4 in the East. In the West, tied for the lead is Western and Northern at 4-0. Western Michigan, Northern Illinois. Ball State's 2-2 in third place. Eastern's fourth with 2-3. Toledo, I thought they'd be the MAC West team. They're in fifth at 1-2. And Central's at 0-4. And at the MAC start today, Western somehow owns the head-to-head with Northern Illinois. Beat Buffalo and Western Michigan for the MAC championship if it ended today. In the Mountain West Conference, they have conferences too. Utah State's solely leading the conference. They're 3-0. Boise State's 3-1. Colorado State's 2-2. New Mexico's 1-2. Air Force is 1-3, and Wyoming's 0-4 in the Mountain Conference. In the West, tied for the lead, Fresno State's 3-0. San Diego State's 3-0. I'm surprised both those teams are not ranked. They're 6-1 overall. Hawaii's 3-1. Nevada's 2-2, and last place UNLV and San Jose State. The Mountain West Conference ended today be Utah State and Fresno State for the Mountain West Championship. Pac-12 got a little nuts. There's only 5 ranked teams now. All 4 of them in the North. 15th ranked Washington's 4-1. Washington State and Stanford, they're playing this week. They're both 3-1. 14th and 24th ranked. Oregon's 2-2. 19th ranked and 4th in the Pac-12 North. California's 1-3, and Oregon State's 0-4. In the South, there's only one ranked team. That's Utah. They own the head-to-head with USC. They're 3-2 overall in the conference. Colorado and UCLA are tied for third, 2-2 and 2-2. Fifth is Arizona at 2-3, and Arizona State's 1-3 in conference play. So at the Pac-12 championship end of the day, it'd be Utah and Washington for the Pac-12 championship. In the SEC conference in the East, look at this. The SEC East, there's 3 teams tied there. 12th ranked Kentucky, 9th ranked Florida, 7th ranked Georgia. The head-to-head right now would be Kentucky right now. They're 4-1. So is Florida and Georgia in the conference. South Carolina's 2-3. Tennessee's 1-3 5th. Missouri's 0-3 6th, and Vanderbilt's 7th at 0-7. In the SEC West, Alabama's leading solely. They're 5-0. LSU's 4th ranked. They're 4-1. A&M's 16th ranked. They are 3-1. 4th place is Auburn at 2-3. Ole Miss and Mississippi State are tied for 5th at 1-3. And Arkansas's last 0-7. So at the SEC championship ended today, guess what? It'd be Kentucky. Actually, it'd be Kentucky and Alabama, but Kentucky would be the home school because I think the SEC East hosts the championship. SEC West hosted it last year. It'd be Alabama and Kentucky if it ended today. The SEC championship was today. And finally, the Sun Belt, they have conferences too. Georgia Southern's 3-0, Appalachian State's 3-0, and Troy's 3-0. Appalachian State's now 25th. Coastal Carolina's 1-2, and Georgia State's 1-2. UL Monroe's leading the West at 2-2. Arkansas State's 1-2. Louisiana Raging Cajuns are 1-2. South Alabama's 1-2. Texas State is 0-4. If the Sun Belt Championship was today, it'd be Georgia Southern and UL Monroe. We haven't even gotten into the matchups for next week yet. Wanted to get into that real quick. We start with I think there's a game tonight. Yep, there's a game tonight. It's Troy and Southern Alabama. I want all FBS, not just top 25. I don't go over just top 25. I try to look at all the matchups. Troy was 5-2 at South Alabama. We'll get into basketball later. 2-5, South Alabama. I like Troy in that matchup. Big on 11.5 spread. I like Troy in that matchup. October 25th. This is Thursday night. There's a few games. I'll be at the Western one Thursday night. 4-3 Baylor's at 5-1 13th ranked West Virginia FS1 at 7. I like West Virginia big and a little close, and then they'll pull away late. I like West Virginia bounce back matchup. 7 on CBS Sports Network. 3-5 Ball State's at 4-3 Ohio. I like Ohio big in that matchup. On ESPN2 at 7, I'll be here. This is my game of the week. 3-4 Toledo's at 6-2 Western. I think Western dominates Toledo, and they'll go 7-2, win their 7th in a row. 7:30 on ESPNU. Look out Appalachian State. 5-1 25th ranked at 6-1 Georgia Southern. I think Georgia Southern's going to upset Appalachian State. This is my first upset pick this week. This is going to be a good game. I like Georgia Southern's running game to slow down Appalachian State. Finally at 7:30 on ESPN Thursday night. 3-4 Georgia Tech's at 4-2 Virginia Tech. I like Virginia Tech. That's a tough place to play in Blacksburg at night. I like Virginia Tech. Friday's matchup. Ooh, a 6:30 matchup. Louisiana Tech's 5-2 at 3-4 Florida Atlantic. I like Louisiana Tech to beat Florida Atlantic in that matchup. 7 o'clock on ESPN. 5-2 Miami's at 5-2 Boston College. I like Miami in a close matchup in that one. That's on ESPN. Another Big Ten matchup at 8 o'clock. Indiana's 4-4 at 3-4 Minnesota. I like IU in a close matchup there on FS1. Wyoming's 2-6 at 3-5 Colorado State. I like on the CBS Sports Network at 10. I like Colorado State. And on ESPN in the Rose Bowl, 5-2 Utah is at 2-5 UCLA. This game's actually for one of the Pac-12 divisions, but I like Utah in a close matchup with UCLA. Saturday's matchup, Alabama's off this week at noon. Second-ranked Clemson's 7-0 at 4-3 Florida State. Look out, Clemson. They always struggle against Florida State, it seems, but they're a 70.5 favorite on ABC. I like Clemson by like 10 points over Florida State. This one's a big matchup. 20th ranked 5-2 Wisconsin. This is on Fox, by the way. At 4-3 Northwestern. Northwestern's leading the Big Ten West. And you know what? I think Northwestern's going to upset Wisconsin this week. If Northwestern beats Wisconsin this week, they're going to be more talked about in the Big Ten West. They're leading that division solely right now. I like Northwestern to beat Wisconsin, another upset prediction. At 12 o'clock on SEC Network, 3-5 Vanderbilt's at 2-6 Arkansas. I like Vanderbilt in a touchdown matchup against Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas is that good. Also at noon on ESPN2, Texas Tech's 5-2 at 3-3 Iowa State. I like Iowa State in a shootout here. I think this game's going to be a shootout. Bowman's there, but I like Iowa State in this matchup. 12 o'clock on ABCC Network, 3-4 Wake Forest at 2-5 Louisville. I think Louisville bounced back at their first ACC win. I think they beat Wake Forest in a close matchup. At noon on ESPNU, 2-6 UMass is at 1-6 UConn. I like UMass to upset UConn in this matchup, even though they're favorite. At noon on CBS Sports Network, I've been to a game here before. 5-2 Army's at 4-4 Eastern Michigan. I like Army in a close matchup. I thought about going to this one or the tailgate on ESPN. 4-3 is at Purdue at 4-3 Michigan State. I think Purdue's going to upset Michigan State again. Purdue looked great against Michigan State. Michigan State's offense didn't look that good. I like Purdue. Central's 1-7 at 3-3 Akron. I like Akron in this matchup. I don't think Central's that good. At noon on Big Ten Network, I don't know what Bethlehem Cookham. Oh, that's a makeup game, I think, for Nebraska, because Nebraska was going to play Akron at the start of the year. I didn't remember Bethlehem Cookham playing Nebraska, but I like Nebraska to win their second straight. 12:20 on ACC Network. 1-5 North Carolina's at 5-2 Virginia. I like Virginia big in that matchup. 2 o'clock. Southern Miss is 3-3 at 3-4 Charlotte. I like Southern Miss to beat Charlotte in that matchup. 2 o'clock. Coastal Carolina's 4-3 at 2-5 Georgia State. I like Coastal Carolina in that matchup. 3-4 TCU's at 2-5 Kansas on FS1. I like not Kansas. I like TCU in that matchup. Close game. 3 o'clock. 1-6 Oregon State's at 5-2 Colorado. I like Colorado in that matchup. This is the big one this week. At 3:30. 9th ranked Florida 6-1 at 6-1 Georgia. I think Georgia bounces back. Close game. I like Georgia in this matchup. This is in Jacksonville. It's the cocktail party on CBS. 3:30 on Fox. 3-4 Kansas State's at 8th ranked 6-1 Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma big. Another underrated matchup at 3:30. 18th ranked 6-1 Iowa is at 5-2 Penn State. Tough place to play. I said Iowa might be an underrated team, but I like Penn State in this matchup just because Happy Valley is a tough place to play when it goes in the night. I like Penn State, 18th ranked, 17th ranked. 3:30 at South Florida 7-0, 21st ranked on ABC at 6-1 Houston. I think Houston's going to upset South Florida. 3:30 on ABC or ESPN2. 3-4 Arizona State's at 4-3 USC. I like USC to beat Arizona State. First big matchup, or first matchup of the year ever for 3-4 Illinois at 4-3 Maryland on Big Ten Network. I like Maryland to kill Illinois. 3:30 on ACC Network. 5-2 Duke's at 3-4 Pittsburgh. I like Duke in that matchup. 3:30 Middle Tennessee's at Old Dominion. 4-3 at 2-6. Middle Tennessee. I like Middle Tennessee to beat Old Dominion. Northern Illinois at BYU 4-3. I like BYU to beat Northern Illinois. That's on ESPNU. Cincinnati 6-1 at 3-4 SMU. I like Cincinnati to beat SMU. 4 o'clock on SEC Network. This might be an upset watch. 6-1 Kentucky's at 4-3 Missouri. I think Kentucky wins by a field goal. I don't like Missouri against big ranked teams like Kentucky, 12th ranked. 4 o'clock New Mexico's 3-4, 5-1 Utah, 6-1 Utah State. I think Utah State wins it big. 4 o'clock Rice at 1-7 at North Texas 6-2. I like North Texas here. 6:30 6-2 Washington's 15th ranked at 4-3 California. I like Washington. Could be a possible upset watch. I like Washington though. 6:30 2-5 UNLV's at 0-7 San Jose State. I think San Jose State finally gets their first win this week. No spread in that one. Late games at 7. 14th ranked Washington State 6-1 5-2 Stanford. I don't like Stanford at all. Their offense looks awful. I don't love Washington State. They're 14th ranked. They're my favorite right now in the Pac-12. I like Washington State to beat Stanford, 24th ranked. A&M 5-2, 16th ranked. They're at 4-3 Mississippi State. A&M, man, 5-2. I like A&M in a close one. I don't like Mississippi State's offense that much. 7 o'clock. This is another upset watch on ESPN2. 5-1 NC State's 22nd ranked at 5-2 Syracuse. Syracuse always beats a ranked team at home. I love Syracuse in this matchup. I think this is an upset game. They beat NC State. 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. 5-2 Boise State's at 3-4 Air Force. I like Boise State to beat Air Force big in this matchup. 7 o'clock as well. 4-3 Arkansas State's at 3-4 Louisiana. I like Arkansas State. Excuse me. Tulane's 2-5 at 1-6 Tulsa. I like Tulsa to beat Tulane. 7 o'clock also. That's on ESPNU, by the way. New Mexico State's 2-6 at 1-6 Texas State. I like Texas State to beat New Mexico State. 7:30 on ESPN Plus. UAB 6-1 at 0-7 UAB. I think UAB dominates UTEP. 7:30 on SEC Network. 3-4 Tennessee's at 3-3 South Carolina. I like South Carolina to beat Tennessee. 7:30 5-2 Florida Nationals at 1-6 Western Kentucky. I like Florida International big. 8 o'clock in San Diego, the old Qualcomm Stadium where the old San Diego Chargers used to play. 3rd ranked Notre Dame 7-0 at 2-5 Navy. Not a lot of big Saturday night 8 o'clock matchups. I like Notre Dame. 6th ranked Texas is 6-1 at 4-3 Oklahoma State. I like Texas big over Oklahoma State. 10:30 on ESPN. 19th ranked Oregon's 5-2 at 3-5 Arizona. I like Oregon in this matchup. 10:30 6-3 Hawaii's at 6-1 Fresno State on ESPN2. I like Fresno State. And finally on ESPNU, 6-1 San Diego State's at 4-4 Nevada. I like San Diego State in that matchup. Oh, whoops. I wanted to go over the MLB finisher up. I can't remember. It was last Tuesday when they played. When was it? What was last week? It was the 16th, I think, for the league championship series. Trying to figure out which day I was watching games and stuff. Oh, that's right. I did my 4 o'clock one because the Red Sox game 3 was playing the Astros. It was 1-1, and the Red Sox played the Astros, I think, at 5 o'clock. So that's why I did my podcast early. Wanted to do my box score for game 3 for the rest of the CS. Red Sox won 8-2. Avali won the game for the Red Sox. Smith got the loss for the Astros. It all started in the top of the first when Martinez had the RBI double to right. Red Sox were up 1-0 in the top of the first. Bogarts had an RBI ground out. It was 2-0 Red Sox in the top of the first. Astros, Gonzalez had an RBI single to right center as they were down 2-1 in the bottom of the fifth. Bregman had an RBI double. They tied the game at 2-2. Steve Pearce had a clutch 6-run homer as the Red Sox were up 3-2. Moreland got hit by a pitch. It was an RBI walk, 4-2 in the top of the eighth. Then Jackie Bradley Jr. hit a grand slam in the top of the eighth. Red Sox won 8-2 in a dominating game over the Astros. They were up 2-1 after game 3. Also Tuesday night, this game went to 13 innings. I was at work, which I was disappointed about. The game didn't end until about 2 or 2:30, I think. The Dodgers Brewers game, it was actually game 4. Brewers were up 2-1 as the Dodgers won 2-1 in 13 innings. It went to 13 innings. Urias got the win. Guerrero got the loss for the Dodgers. Bottom of the first, Dozier had a single to left. It was 1-0. Santana had RBI double to right, deep right. It was 1-1. Bottom of the 13th, it was Cody Bellinger for the Dodgers. They won 2-1 with an RBI single to right center. Machado scored. It was 2-1. Machado got into I think one of the first basemen there for the Brewers right in the game, or like a dirty slide or something. I think he got into Aguilar. They got a little beef. Dodgers tied the series 2-2. Let's see. Friday matchup. Or no, it was actually Wednesday matchups. I'm looking at. Yes. Oh, whoops, a daisies. Were there two Wednesday matchups? Yeah, there were two Wednesday matchups. Wanted to go over the game four though for the Red Sox. I think this was a late game. Joe Kelly got the win. James got the loss. Kimbrel got the save. Top of the first, Red Sox Devers had an RBI single, or single, 2-run single to left center. It was 2-0 Red Sox in the top of the first. Correa had a single in the bottom of the second, RBI single in the bottom of the second to make it 2-1. Top of the third, Bogarts had an RBI double. It was 3-1 in game four. Bottom of the third, Springer had a solo shot. It was 3-2. And Reddick had an RBI single to center. It was 3-3 in the bottom of the third. Bottom of the fourth, Kemp for the Astros. It was 4-3 in the bottom of the fourth. Top of the fifth, Red Sox had an RBI single for Bogarts. It was 4-4. Bottom of the fifth, Correa had an RBI single. Right center was 5-4 Astros. Top of the sixth, Bradley Jr. had a 2-run shot. Top of the sixth, 6-5. RBI walk in the top of the seventh for the Red Sox for Holt. 7-5. JD Martinez had an RBI single to center. It was 8-5. And Altuve had an RBI ground out in the bottom of the eighth, 8-6. And the Red Sox were up 8-6 in that matchup, as they won 3-1 in that series over the not the Dodgers, my bad. The Astros. They were going into a crucial game 5 on Thursday night. Also, I think this was also Wednesday night. This was also, yes, game 5. This game went all the way to 7, I think. Kershaw had the win. Woodruff had the loss. Jansen had the save for the Dodgers. Top of the third. It was in the Dodgers. Top of the third, Kane had an RBI single, or RBI double to center. It was 1-0 in the top of the third. Barnes had a single to center in the bottom of the fifth. 1-1 Dodgers. Bottom of the sixth, Muncy had a single left center. It was 2-1 in the bottom of the sixth. Puig had a single to right center. It was 3-1. Bottom of the seventh, Turner had a single to center. RBI single. It was 4-1. And Dozier had an RBI ground out in the bottom of the seventh as well as 5-1. And Granderson in the top of the ninth had an RBI double. 5-2 as the Dodgers won game 5. It was 3-2. And finally, let's see, they moved to Milwaukee. For the ALCS, this was a Thursday matchup. This ended it. I was listening to this at the top of the ninth on the radio as Price got the win. Verlander, he beat Verlander. Price actually got a playoff win. He's not known to win playoff games. Got his first playoff win. Verlander got the loss, and Kimbrel got his third save. JD Martinez had a homer solo shot in the top of the third. It was 1-0. Devers had a 3-run homer in the top of the sixth. 4-0. Gonzalez, the last run for the Astros, 4-1. Red Sox win it in the bottom of the ninth as they advance to the World Series to play the winner of the Dodgers and the Brewers. So there were 2 games in Milwaukee. One of them was on Friday night as the Brewers won 7-2 over the Dodgers to force Game 7. Top of the first, David Freese had a solo shot. It was 1-0. In the bottom of the first, there were 4 runs in the bottom of the first. That Game 6, Aguilar had an RBI double to right. It was 2-1, 2-run double to right. 2-1 Brewers. Moustakas had double to right. Brewers, it was 3-1. Kratz had a single to shallow right. It was 4-1. Braun had an RBI double in the bottom of the second. It was 5-1. Freese had another double. He scored the most runs for the Dodgers. The only 2 runs they got, 5-2. Aguilar hit another. Oh yeah, it was a wild pitch by Aguilar. Scored. Moustakas the third. It was 6-2 in the bottom of the seventh. Bottom of the eighth, Aguilar, he did everything in this game. He had a single RBI single to right, a 1-run single actually. It was 7-2 Brewers. They forced Game 7, and Saturday I was watching that along with Purdue on Saturday night for the NLCS. Like, I can't believe people don't like baseball late in the year. That's ridiculous. It's the playoffs. Yeah, Madison got the win for the Dodgers, and Chanchin got the loss. This was Saturday night. Brewers, Yelich had a homer to right center. As all the Brewers might make it, it's 1-0, but then the Dodgers, Bellinger hit a 2-run homer. In the second, it was 2-1. And then Puig's 3-run homer in the sixth sealed the game for the Dodgers. They won 5-1, and the Dodgers advanced their second straight World Series. I predicted the Dodgers on my MixLR radio station early in the season. I didn't pick the Red Sox though, but I love Boston though. So this is how the series is going to go. They play tonight, Dodgers Red Sox at 8:09 on Tuesday night tonight. I gotta see the pitching matchups. My predictions. I think it's Kershaw and Sale. I think Kershaw. I normally like the Red Sox. I think the Dodgers will win tonight, just because Kershaw's pitching. Sale hasn't pitched in a while. He was in the hospital. That's my game one prediction. Wednesday, Dodgers Red Sox at 8:09. That's tomorrow night at 8:09. I think Price is pitching tomorrow. No, I don't. No, skip. I just want to find out the pitching matchups. Not tell me the pitching matchups. I think Price is pitching. I like Boston that matchup. 1-1. Game 3 is going to be played Friday night, 8:09. Red Sox Dodgers. I like the Dodgers in Game 3. Saturday night. I hope it ends on the weekend. I hope it goes to 5. I want the Red Sox to win badly in 4. Dodgers to win 5. Because I want to watch the World Series end on a weekend before I go to work. That'd be so great. Saturday, I think this is Red Sox Dodgers at 8:09. That's Saturday night. I like the Red Sox in Game 4. Game 5's on Sunday night at 8:15. I like the Red Sox again. And then Tuesday the 30th, I think the Red Sox win again. It's Game 6, 8:09. I think it's the Red Sox in 6. I said the Dodgers early in the year, but I like Boston. I really like Boston, though. They're my team. And if this Game 7 happens to be next Wednesday on Halloween night, so the World Series, if it goes into 7, could end next Wednesday night. So that's going to be fun. The college basketball standings came out. I will preview like the conference predictions in my magazine. I gotta get NCAA basketball magazine, but the first official rankings came out in the schedule. I want to look at the rankings right now or so for the top 25. Kansas got 1 overall, Kentucky 2nd, Gonzaga's 3rd, Duke's 4th, Virginia's 5th, Tennessee 6th. Yeah, they're a little underrated. Nevada 7th, they were underrated. They played great in the tournament last year. 8th was North Carolina. Defending champion Villanova's 9th. Michigan State's 10th. Auburn's 11th. Kansas State's 12th. 13th is West Virginia. 14th is Oregon. 15th is Virginia Tech. 16th is Syracuse. 17th is Florida State. 18th ranked Mississippi State. 19th ranked Michigan. 20th TCU. 21st UCLA. 22nd Clemson. 23rd LSU. 24th Purdue. And 25th Washington. Marquette, IU. Florida, Nebraska, Maryland, Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, all got 20 plus votes. Bama, UCF, Buffalo, Arizona, Louisville, Miami, San Diego State, USC, Butler, Texas Tech, Texas, Arizona State, St. John's, Providence, Xavier, Missouri, NC State, Marshall, and Davidson. They all got votes too. I need to look at the overall standings. I want to give a preview or so coming up. Yeah, there's games that start on Tuesday night, the November 6th. We'll preview good matchups, I think. Do they actually start November 6th? Man, Michigan State's playing Kansas that day, 10th at 1. Oh, that's a good one. Look at these games. Syracuse is playing, Clemson's playing, Purdue's playing, North Carolina's playing. Oh my goodness. Wow, there's some good teams playing that day. Western's got a home game that day on the 6th. Maybe if I check that game out. I'll see. That's on the 6th of November. Let's see. Michigan's playing that day. LSU's playing that day. Florida State, Auburn, Gonzaga, UCLA all have home games. There's another matchup I thought that was pretty good. Oh, it's Duke and Kentucky. They're all playing in Indianapolis. Michigan State and Kansas open up 7 p.m. And then at 9:30, Duke's playing Kentucky. Oh, I'm gonna miss Duke, Kentucky. I hate all these late games on the weekdays, so I miss half of them if they start at 11 o'clock. But I'll preview the full matchups. I want to look at all the conference standings. I need to get a college basketball book. I'll get one next Monday and try to preview the overall standings before the season starts on Tuesday, November 6th. Those are the matchups. I was looking at the schedule. I haven't even looked at the schedule yet. And so I'll look at that for you guys next week. NBA, there was a big fight Saturday night. LeBron's home debut was overshadowed by a Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo fight. Bellamy and I think Kuzma got into it too. And there's going to be suspensions handed out for the Lakers and the Rockets. I wanted to look at the overall standings. I haven't previewed a lot of the games, but I got to do some stuff. So I'll just go over the standings. The top 8 right now. Raptors are 4-0 in first. Bucks are 3-0 in third. Pistons are 2-0. 76ers are 2-1 in fourth. Fifth are the Charlotte Hornets at 2-2. Magic are 6th. They're 2-2. Celtics are 2-2 as well in seventh. The Pacers are 2-2 as well in eighth. We're outside of it. The Heat, Hawks, Nets, and Wizards are all 1-2. Knicks are 1-3, and for last, the Bulls and Cavs are 0-3. The Cavs slipped from 1 to 16th. Tough for them in the West. Nuggets are 3-0. They're leading. Pelicans are 2-0. Warriors are 3-1 in third. Blazers are 2-1 in fourth. Uh, Grizzlies are 2-1 in fifth. Clippers are 2-1 sixth. Spurs are seventh, and Mavericks are both 2-1. Timberwolves are 2-2 in ninth. Jazz and Suns and Rockets and Kings are all 1-2. And for last, the Lakers and Thunder, I thought they'd be up there, but they're 0-3 right now to start off the year. They're both tied for last in the West tonight. And today's scores, I'm looking at the games for tonight for the NBA. 2-1 76ers at 2-0 Pistons. I like the 76ers that matchup. 2-1 Clippers are at the 2-0 Pelicans. I like the Pelicans in that matchup. 1-2 Kings are at the Nuggets 3-0. I like the Kings in that matchup. We'll preview more matches as I go along later in the season. NHL, I wanted to look at the standings there and preview the matchups for the night. The Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, the Maple Leafs are 6-3, first place. Lightning are 5-1, second. Canadians are 4-1, third. Bruins are 4-2 in fourth. 5-4. Sabres are in fifth. Senators are 4-2 in sixth. The Panthers are seventh at 1-2, and the last are the Red Wings in the Atlantic at 1-6. In the Metropolitan, the Hurricanes are 5-3, leading. Capitals are second at 4-2, defending champs. 4-2 Devils are 4-2, tied with them for second. Fourth are the Penguins at 3-1. Blue Jackets are 4-3 in fifth. Flyers are 4-5 in sixth. Islanders are 3-4 in seventh, and last are the Rangers at 2-5 and eighth. In the Western Conference Central, the Predators are 7-1. Avalanche are 6-1 second. The Jets are 6-2. Wild and Blackhawks are tied for fourth. Blues are in seventh, I think. Actually, yeah, they're in sixth, and the Stars are 3-4. Only 7 teams in that one. There should be another team added. The Ducks and Flames are 5-3, tied for first in the Pacific. The Canucks are 5-4. Sharks are 4-3, and third and fourth respectively. Fifth are the Golden Knights at 4-4 and fifth. The Oilers are sixth at 3-3. Kings are 2-5 in seventh, and the Coyotes are 2-5 in last. And tonight's schedule, I'm just looking at the matchups for tonight and this week. This is the 23rd. Florida's at New York. Arizona's at Columbus. Calgary's at Montreal. Boston's at Ottawa. San Jose's at Nashville. Anaheim's at Chicago. Los Angeles is at Dallas. And Pittsburgh is at Edmonton. And yeah, that's about it. We'll preview more college basketball next week. I gotta look at the conference standings for you guys. More NBA standings matchup. Anything that big that might happen. Maybe fights or anything. Any firings. Any trade deadlines that happen for the NFL, college football too. We'll have a big show next week. I'm gonna do it at 6 o'clock next week. Again, I'm starting at 6 o'clock, so I don't have to talk going in the dark all the way to 8:30. And yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys taking a listen. Have a good one.